Okay, guys, so I'm doing a review on my opinion on the new Spider-Man movie. Uh, this was directed by Mark Webb and had characters such as, actors such as Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone. I don't know the guy who played Dr. Kurt Connors, Rye Effins. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but anyway, here's my review. Here's my opinion. Um, Okay, first off, Spider-Man. The way he looked was fantastic. I think they did a really good job with, adding, it's small details to the costume, which a lot of people might not agree on, but I think that adding the details was just a minor thing to change. Um, and, it's not always based on the costume. You can't always put all your ideas into the costume. You always have to make things fresh and new, and that's what they did for this character. They made Spider-Man look really well thought out, and I really enjoyed his costume. I also enjoyed how they made his web swinging. Now, in the original film, um, of Spider-Man, it was pretty okay. It was decent. I mean, he did still look like Spider-Man, but the vibe wasn't there for me. I felt it was too CGI, and who could complain? At the time, we didn't have what we have today. Okay, now I really appreciated the way they showed the introduction to him creating his web shooters. I found that a very key element, a very big key element, because in the comic books, Spider-Man did have web shooters, and in the original, cartoon series, he did too. And I grew up with those cartoon series, and I loved them. And web shooters, I always thought was a very smart thing to add, because it shows um, the side of Peter Parker, being genius and all, and actually coming up with this idea for his own costume. Um, Now, Andrew Garfield playing Peter Parker. I wasn't too sure that this would work because I didn't know what type of actor Andrew Garfield was. After seeing Spider-Man, I give him so much respect because he took one of my favorite iconic characters and he pretty much took the role of Peter Parker and Spider-Man and turned it into his own without ruining who Peter Parker actually is and who Spider-Man really is. So I really give him thumbs up for that. I felt like I was actually watching a comic book turned into a movie. Um, he put so much feeling into Peter Parker, especially during that scene with Uncle Ben, and the way he interacts with Gwen Stacy is just like so realistic. It's not that mushy gushy Tobey Maguire and Mary Jane Watson. It's more realistic, more down to earth. Now Gwen Stacy, Emma Stone, she also, I give her thumbs up, and I didn't know until I actually saw her interviews that she was a very big comic book fan, and Spider-Man was one of those comics that she read. So I was impressed with the way she played Gwen Stacy because Gwen Stacy is an iconic character, and um, she's not a simple person for you to like. You really have to understand her to know who Gwen Stacy is. So I thought that was really cool too, how she played Gwen Stacy to the fullest. I didn't think she was gonna do a good job either. So honestly, this reboot I thought I was like, you can't really reboot movies like this because it's gonna make them, it's gonna piss people off. People like the originals, but honestly speaking, I was disappointed with the originals, especially with part 3. I mean, come on, Venom, let's be honest, he looked terrible. And Sandman, it was too Warner Brothers. It was too much like the original Batman's for me. But this Spider-Man gave a darker feeling, a darker, more today's look on what Spider-Man would be if he really existed, and what type of hardships he would go through if he really existed. That's why I love this movie to the fullest. Now, I've seen other reviews on this movie, and I've seen 3.5s and 4.5s, and I've never seen anyone give it a 5 yet. So I'm gonna be honest, I give this movie a 5. Not just because Spider-Man is one of my personal favorite heroes, but just because they really brought the comic book to life in my perspective. And oh, I wanted to bring something out. Now, a lot of people were pissed off with the Lizard's look. Not the Lizard's actual being, but just his look. Now, I want to explain something to you guys, alright? Even though I'm pretty sure there's not going to be that many viewers on this, watching this video, but I'm just going to put it out there. You cannot take Spider-Man and add the Lizard and then just make him look like a lizard, because if you're forgetting something, he's a doctor, he was human, he's Dr. Kurt Connors, okay? So when you're doing experiments, there's gonna be some form of leftover human in you. So just because he didn't have the long lizard snout as originally thought of in the comic book, I respect this. I respect the decision they made to keep him with the human's, the human shaped face, because it's more realistic that way. You're staying true to the comic book. You're not changing something dramatically, and the character was still there. So I really thought that this movie deserved all the credit that it should have gotten from other reviewers, because a lot of people I noticed shitted on this movie. And I thought this movie was great, man. I really did. Now, it didn't top the Avengers, unfortunately, because, let's face it, all those heroes in one movie, and everybody loves the Avengers. Everyone loves Iron Man, everyone loves the Hulk, everyone loves Captain America. But as an individual hero film, I thought Spider-Man was the best one yet, because of how realistic it was. It wasn't Warner Brothers, it wasn't the original Spider-Mans, it was its own Spider-Man. It was its own new era of something that should have been done before. But I'm glad that someone was finally able to play Peter Parker. Again, thumbs up to Andrew Garfield. I'm glad they did not put Mary Jane in this, because I was so sick of seeing Mary Jane in the movies. I was like, why don't they just kill her off already? She's getting on my last nerve. Peter Parker was a pussy in the original Spider-Man. Always crying. Shut up. Stop being such a bitch. My God. At least in this one, Peter Parker was, he's not pussy. He was just like, I don't know. He had his emotions right. Tobey Maguire, I'm sorry, but Andrew Garfield kick your ass as Peter Parker and as Spider-Man. So, yeah, good job, man. Seriously, Mark Webb, you deserve props, bro. This is coming at you from a big-time, die-hard Spider-Man fan from the original comics. Even though I'm young, but still, I still read all of the comics, and I'm still reading them. So, good job, Mark Webb.